It is my hope that you are enjoying your evening. Welcome to Weekend Live right here on KUTV. Today being Saturday, the 17th day of June 2023. A lot has been happening in the country throughout the day, including first. President William Ruto tours Meru, pledges to repurpose agricultural ventures in the area. DP Gachagua participates in the Meta-Hatron to raise funds for children living with heart diseases. Attorney General Justin Muturi roots for mediation to save Kenyans litigation costs. And Taita Taveta's Chewani MCA Hamisi Eid dies in a road accident along Garsen-Malindi stretch. Our sign language interpreter this evening is RUTH CHEPKOECH. My name is Joseph Kes. We're also live on YouTube at KUTV Kenya, and you can share with us your feedback on Twitter at KUTV_Kenya and at KesJosephKenya. Now, today was Meru's turn to host President William Ruto and the Kenya Kwanza entourage for the Ameru Dairy Farmers Annual General Meeting. Agriculture was the theme of the tour, with the residents pleasuring the audience of the president and top government officials. Promises were made, with accompanying government officials making pledges to repurpose agricultural ventures in the Mount Kenya County. Munene Weru reports.
Meru leaders, one after another, took the podium to heap up the president with praises of a short term well served. The county's Governor Kawira Mungaza defined President William Ruto as one who walks his talk after the delivery of funds for several water projects in the region. The governor, however, took the slightest of chances to seek Ruto's audience for stalled projects in her county.
Napenda kusema asante sana Mheshimiwa Rais kwa sababu umetufanyia maajabu. The other time we were with you Ntumbori, ulitupromise na umetimiza yote. Kitu ya kwanza tulikuomba ututengenezee hospitali yetu level 5 ifike ipate pesa. Umetumana 500 million iko barabarani, tunakushukuru Rais.
Tayari umesema hiyo VAT ama duty hiyo imetolewa na iko kwa finance bill. Kwa hivyo sisi mkiona tunaunga finance bill mkono ni sababu inaenda kusaidia wakulima.
The regular dose of weekend politics did not miss from the presidency, with the president and his deputy pouring out their tributes to the Mori people for voting them in some 8 months after the elections. The deputy president, however, called out the county's leadership for mistaken priorities, urging them to unite as a people. Gachagua's statements comes against a backdrop of an impeachment attempt by Meru MCAs on Governor Mwangaza, with the DP coming out to show the monumental role the government played in quelling the wrangles.
Kwa hivyo watu wa Meru tuko na shukrani. Na governor amesema mzuri. Huyu rais wetu anapenda nyinyi. Siku kulikuwa na mzozo na vita kati ya governor na MCA. Rais aliudhika sana. Rais akaniita, akanipatia amri. Nikaita huyu governor na MPs na MCA wakakuwa na amani.
President William Ruto, on his part, did not tire from crusading for his controversial housing plan, further outlining its benefits.
Na ajira watu wa Meru na wa Kenya haiwezi kupatikana kama hatuna mpango. We must have a plan. Na ndio sababu tuko na housing, tuko na ICT, tuko na export of labor, na tuko na mambo yetu ya agro processing, value addition, manufacturing, ndio vijana wetu wapate ajira.
The presidential visit comes after DP Gachagua spent a whole week in the area for the coffee summit. Munene Weru, KUTV.
And Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua today joined participants in the Karen Hospital Heart Run organized by the Heart to Heart Foundation. The run, which aims to raise funds for children living with heart diseases who cannot afford expenses of heart surgeries and treatments, has been running for 30 years now. DP Gachagua reiterated government's resolve to implement reforms in the healthcare sector and improving access to quality healthcare services. Yvonne Kimoma with more.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua today joined participants in the Karen Hospital's Heart Run. The run, organized by the Heart to Heart Foundation, is aimed at raising funds for families that are unable to afford expenses of surgeries and associated procedures. Gachagua, who termed the event as a life-saving initiative, says that Kenya Kwanza government is implementing reforms in the health sector. As he says, the government is determined to increase access to quality health care.
The Kenya Kwanza administration under President William Ruto is implementing reforms in the health sector, specifically the National Health Hospital Insurance Fund. We are determined to increase access to quality health care and reduce the burden of our people, especially the vulnerable.
Impressed by the Heart Run, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua described it as a powerful embodiment of compassion, resilience and hope for children and families affected by congenital and rheumatic heart diseases. The occasion marked the 30th anniversary of this noble initiative, which aims to generate funds to support families in need of financial assistance for surgeries and associated procedures.
We recognize that hope has been restored to over 400 beneficiaries and their families. I therefore express my deepest gratitude to the Karen Hospital and the Heart to Heart Foundation for the utmost dedication to this noble cause of giving our children a second chance.
More than 200,000 children under the age of 18 suffer from heart-related ailments. The Deputy President urged individuals from all walks of life in Kenya to contribute to such noble causes, emphasizing the importance of providing these children with an opportunity for a healthy, successful and fulfilling life. Yvonne Kimoma, KUTV.
A draft policy to entrench alternative dispute resolution in the country's judicial system has been approved by the Cabinet and will be enacted into law soon. Attorney General Justin Muturi has confirmed. The policy seeks to uphold mediation as an alternative mechanism to resolving civil disputes. AG Muturi has now noted that mediation is meant to help courts clear case backlogs while helping the concerned parties to save time and resources in litigation processes. Joseph Oyomo has the details.
Embu residents have been introduced to an alternative way of resolving civil disputes other than filing lawsuits in the courts of law.
Court is required to encourage and facilitate dispute resolution, alternative dispute resolution, including reconciliation, mediation, negotiation, and not limited to traditional dispute resolution.
A draft policy to install mediation as one of the ways to negotiate and reconcile aggrieved parties is ready, according to Attorney General Justin Muturi, who expressed confidence that arbitration will greatly help courts clear case backlogs, which has slowed the ruling of piled-up cases.
I've taken the lead in presenting about last 2 months ago the policy to actualize ADR, and it's been approved by the Cabinet. Because we recognize and appreciate that there is value in alternative dispute resolution mechanisms.
Attorney General Muturi was the guest of honor during the court-annexed mediation open day in Embu, where the public was sensitized and advised on embracing mediation, which has vast economic and social benefits compared to court litigations.
Since it was launched in 2019, 600 cases have been resolved through mediation, the result of which has been reduction of case backlog in our courts, and at the same time, our estimated value of concluded cases in the Embu courts and the funds previously locked up in litigation, which have now been unlocked to the economy, is to the tune of Kenya shillings 160 million.
Justice Ochieng of Embu Local says that when parties are given a chance to resolve their differences, they make better decisions because they know the underlying reasons. He added that most of the time, court decisions create a new round of hostilities, and these create the need for parties to find their own amicable settlements to disputes.
For the Honorable the Attorney General, we of mediation request you, sir, to help us in the push for the ADR policy, because it brings together not only mediation, it brings together also alternative justice system and of course arbitration and everything else under one umbrella.
Justice Ochieng, who wants lawyers to support mediation, also states that he was aware that mediation posed an ethical dilemma for lawyers who stood to lose their fees when cases are withdrawn from courts and addressed through mediation, saying that legal practitioners should see this mediation as another way of earning a living. Joseph Oyomo, KUTV.
Now, Chewani Ward residents in Tana River County are mourning their area member of County Assembly tonight. Hamisi Eid died on the spot in a road accident that occurred today morning along the stretch between Malindi and Garsen. The MCA was traveling from Mombasa heading to Hola in Tana River. The car driver who reportedly hit a lorry is currently recuperating in a Malindi hospital. In his condolence message, UDA Secretary General Cleophas Malala eulogized Hamisi Eid as a leader, a father, husband, and a friend. And residents of Machakos County have benefited from a free medical camp at Machakos Level 5 Hospital, organized by the National Health Insurance Fund, NHIF. The locals were offered several services, including general consultations, dental, eye care, maternal care, child care services, mental health services, and non-communicable disease screening and management. Timothy Malusi, the NHIF branch manager in Machakos, explained that they have been conducting the open day exercises throughout Machakos County for the past 3 days, reaching out to communities in Matu and Ikalakala Market, where they have been registering and targeting households.
Now we are targeting households as opposed to individuals, and according to the data that we have, already we have registered in excess of 190,000 households. We are still way below the total number of households according to the statistics that we have in Machakos. But this is an exercise that has been helping us to reach out to more and more people, to create more awareness about NHIF. This event is basically to create awareness and also to increase the registration of our members. We are also reaching out to members who have not updated their details. We are also registering people biometrically so that they can be able to access services in their nearest facility. We are helping them even to choose their facilities. Remember, in terms of outpatient, you must have chosen your outpatient facility. We are also educating them on the benefits that they stand to enjoy by joining NHIF.
Nimekuja kuchange facility, nimeweza kusaidika na nimepata huduma nzuri. Ningependa kwa aji wa mama wa register, wenye hawajajiregister wa register na waweze kulipa kukuwa na monthly NHIF na ndio iweze kuwasaidia cater for maternity services.
And Kakamega County's Assistant County Commissioner Jovens Okoth Wende has warned against intersex maltreatment, raising a concern about parents abandoning, killing, or deciding to perform surgeries on their intersex children in attempts to rectify the disorder. Speaking at the International Day of the African Child, Wende said surgeries can only be performed by a surgeon, warning that such acts expose the children to suffering.
During the International Day of African Child in Kakamega, the Assistant County Commissioner Okoth Mwende warned against intersex child abuse. Commissioner Mwende raised concern over a tendency where parents procure surgeries for their intersex children, hoping to make them fit in the society to consider normal gender. Some of the surgeries the commissioner laments are not offered by qualified surgeons, exposing victims to danger and suffering.
We attended some training with the master of ceremony here, and we were taught that some of those organs hizo zenye wako nazo ina develop kulingana na venye mtoto grow. So we saa zingine umezaa mtoto unamuona kama ni kijana kulingana na hiyo organ yenye umeona, but as kigrow akue mtu mkubwa anakuwa msichana. Na we saa zingine umemfanyia tabia nyingine mbaya, so akifikisha pale amekuwa mkubwa, sasa hiyo organ yake ya kijana tayari umeng'oa, sasa mtoto ajui atafunction namna gani.
The County Director for Gender, Children's Service and Labor, Joyce Wafuho, also condemned the maltreatment, saying the county government is ready to form social protection policy law that will ensure proper protection of children in Kakamega without discrimination.
Tunaenda kuwa na sherehe ambayo inatusaidia kulinda nyinyi. Inaitwa social protection policy ambayo tunaungana na serikali kuu kuona ya kwamba hakuna yeyote ambaye atatulumu mtoto. Hiyo sherehe ikipitishwa na kuambia watoto mtalindwa.
Joyce also said that the county government will finance the education program of vulnerable children and introduce school feeding programs to facilitate early child development education.
Tunaenda shule ya nasari, pia tunahakikisha wanaenda shule. Na kaunti ya Kakamega inapeana pesa. Na hivi karibuni tunasema pia tunaandaa tuwe na program ya kulisha watoto kwa ECD.
She challenged children to embrace their talents and put efforts in academics, promising to deal with perpetrators who violate child's rights.
Na nyinyi watoto pia mna jukumu ya kuchikakamua kama watoto kimasomo, pia mkuze talanta zenu ambazo tumeona hapa ni talanta mzuri, si ndio? Na katuzi la Kakamega inasema haitapakua watoto wowote, awe mlemavu, awe mtoto amewachwa, wote tunawafuata kwa karibu sana kuona ya kwamba wameafikia dreams zao ama vision, maono yao ambayo wanataka kama watoto, si ndio?
The director noted that the county government will monitor the progress and development of children by conducting visits to schools and their homes to offer guidance and any necessary support they may need. Zena Odhiambo, KUTV.
Well, that story takes us on our first break of the night. We'll be back with more. Stay with us.
To the CHEPKOECH. I'm your host, Esther Becky.
And my name is DJ Terrell.
We start you off with a word of prayer and get you started with a live transformational worship experience. And have our minds renewed by the word of God on the word segment.
And not forgetting new music za hii wiki, yani ndakuwa bado nawapatia pale wasanii wamekuwa kiwakali. So make sure manzo tune in because zitakuwa zina flow pia pale mixes kwa wingi, yani zitakuwa zina come through, and pia performance yani from our gospel artist hapa on Gospel Art
from 7 to
10 a.m. only on KUTV.
So it's not the duty of the prosecutor to investigate. The prosecutor will only evaluate the evidence that has been brought forth by the investigative agencies. And that's why we criminal law practitioners take advantage. Yeah, because you know, you are here arguing this case with me, but you did not investigate.
You don't know what are the details of this particular case.
Yeah.
what are some of the ways through which you can develop these skills so that you are comfortably fitting into the job?
You have to put yourself in positions where you are uncomfortable in the sense that you are not clear about what to do.
Because I used to work a corporate job before. So when I left, I happened to visit someone's farm around this area.
So this project is called Security Breach Detector and Readiness Familiarize. It is meant to be used to detect, detonate explosives.
We'll tackle all the tough issues, discuss all the weird moments, and hopefully share a few laughs along the way.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. KUTV, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing. Through these courses, you will acquire hands-on skills on camera operations, media production, lighting techniques, audiovisual editing, and sound and visual control, and how to operate key equipment in modern TV control room. Enroll today at KUTV and discover your full potential in cutting-edge TV broadcasting. Graduates of these courses will receive professional certificates. For more information, visit our offices at KUTV Studios or call us on 020-870-4252 or 020-870-4255 or SMS us on 0739-110-544. KUTV, a new experience.
Welcome back to the broadcast. Let us take a look at more updates. Now, Parliamentary Committee on Public Petitions has called for the resignation of National Environment Management Authority, that is NEMA, Director General Mamoboru, after cries by Athi River residents over intense pollution and negligence by the authority. Chemical tests on the Athi River waters revealed highly poisonous contents resulting from pollution by industries upstream. The MPs told of threats posed by the pollution, given that Athi River flows into the Thwake Dam, which serves millions of Ukambani residents.
Bowing to pressure from locals, the Parliamentary Committee on Public Petitions has ordered the firing by decree of NEMA Director General Mamoboru after a long time of ignoring the Athi River pollution scandal. A scandal it is, as reports are surfacing that industries upstream in the counties of Nairobi and Machakos are the main contenders of the blame.
Of what is happening and what we have seen upstream and from the polluters and what we've experienced downstream from the consumers. Somebody has to take responsibility. And it will be my first recommendation that the Director General NEMA has to be suspended. Yes. For this work to continue.
The committee's chairman Nimrod Mbai, who is also the member of Parliament for Kitui East, exclaimed the committee's worries over the millions of residents poised to take the water and poison themselves. According to Mbai, the river pollution is a national disaster and should be accorded warranted attention.
Wacha nijirudie. Tumeona wale watu wanachafua juu huko Mawaki Nairobi na Mavoko. Na tumekuja mashinani. Tumeona wale watu wanatumia maji machafu na tunaona hii maji inaenda mpaka Thwake Dam. Hiyo si kitu ambayo mtu angekaa afikirie alete mchezo yake. Na si kitu.
Accompanying MPs also poured out their regrets, with Baringo Central MP Joshua Kandie demanding for the worst form of punishment to those responsible.
Na tuhakikishe ya kwamba wale watu wanachafua hii maji, hii Athi River wamechukuliwa hatua kali sana. Na ningeomba serikali kuu wachukue kabisa sheria, na kama kuna mtu amelala afungwe ama anyongwe. Mimi naomba tu kama ili Waafrika wajue ya kwamba hii kitu ni mbaya. Nafikiri watu wachache wanyongwe tu.
The Athi River situation has been a case of blame game, with responsible authorities pointing fingers in turns. The cross of blame is too heavy to carry as it seems. Munene Weru, KUTV.
Now, a 3-year-old startup company is leading Kenya into the world of high-tech manufacturing, building a sophisticated workforce capable of making semiconductors and nanotechnology products that operate modern devices from mobile phones to refrigerators. Our partner VOA visited the plant and has this story.
Anthony Gitinji is the founder of Semiconductors Technologies Limited, or STL, about 3 hours' drive from Nairobi. He brought the know-how to Kenya from the United States, where he started work in 1997 on semiconductors, materials that conduct electricity and are used in thousands of products. Finding workers with the right skills was a challenge, but he says meeting the Vice Chancellor of Dedan Kimathi University of Science and Technology, also known as DKUT, was a game changer.
DKUT and STL formed a partnership that allowed for us to engage STEM-related education and develop it and tool it and orient it towards our specific industry, which is in the semiconductor and microchip space. And so we started attaching students and having internships through STL.
STL employs about 100 engineers, 70% of them women. Irene Gettage is a process engineer with a background in telecommunications and electrical engineering who graduated in 2019.
At STL, our goal or our vision is to be the leading chip manufacturer in Africa. And just to give context, a chip is like the driver or the brain of every system you can think of. And it is usually integrated on a circuit board, but they're usually very small in size. I can just show you here. Just a few millimeters, they're inside here, yet they contain thousands of transistors.
Semiconductors are used in almost every sector of electronics. In consumer electronics, for example, they are used in microwaves, refrigerators, mobile phones, laptops, and video game consoles. Getich says she entered the STEM sector after reading an article about another woman in the field.
So when I read through, what stood out for me is that she mentioned that in her class there were only 2 ladies, and of course I love doing challenging things, yeah? So that stood out for me.
Lorna Muturi is a mechatronics engineer who will be graduating this year. Just 22 years old, Muturi has already been working at STL for 2 years.
We need a process to run from one stage to another. So if that doesn't happen, I come in and I figure out what is wrong, either in the code work or in the machine hardware itself, and then from there we can figure out what we can do to rectify that.
STL CEO Gitinji says the company's extremely competitive human resource development program helped bring in more women.
What you see at STL, whether it's deliberate or inadvertent, is a result of pretty rigorous, attention to the human resource capacity of the individual. And so it so turns out that these young women in STEM at STL have a very compelling story to tell. They are extremely intelligent, they are doing exceptionally well, they are training very well, and they're producing very well.
The company is working to establish relationships with other universities in Kenya, such as Strathmore and University of Eldoret, as well as in Uganda and Rwanda. Mariama Jallo, VOA News, Nairobi.
Now, thousands of Sudanese continue to flee the war in the country every day, with many making the long trek to south to Kenya, while a fortunate few have friends willing to help them. Most of the new refugees are forced to live at the Dadaab refugee complex. While the burden is heavy, analysts say it is in Kenya's interest to help the new refugees and make an effort to end the war in Sudan.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Journalingo and Press. This is Shakur Nyaketo.
33-year-old Shakur Nyaketo found shelter in this apartment in Kenya's capital several weeks after he fled his home in Khartoum, Sudan.
One-day ceasefire has been very...
Nyakeito, a teacher and journalist, says he took off with his 7 months pregnant wife after their home was attacked by the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces. Nyakeito is out of work. He spends his time updating his followers on events in Sudan through podcasts. His once successful career in broadcasting and teaching, he says, is in limbo.
Actually, it makes me feel very hopeless. It makes me feel very bad and stranded. I don't really know what to do and where to go and how even to do it. And because in my country, I was very well established. I was doing my work, my business.
Nyakeito is among the estimated 2 million civilians who have been displaced because of the armed conflict between rival factions of the military government of Sudan. Nyakeito says all things considered, he and his wife are doing all right.
I'm in a safe place and I can access anything. I can access internet, I can communicate, I can go to media houses, my wife can be able to go to the hospital and everything, and we are expecting her to give birth in 2 or 3 weeks.
Nyakeito is the exception. Most Sudanese refugees in Kenya are living at the Dadaab refugee camps, which are already home to hundreds of thousands of refugees from Somalia and South Sudan. In a report this month, Doctors Without Borders said the camp is already overcrowded with new arrivals, and resources there that were already limited are now overstretched. A number of efforts to stop the war in Sudan have failed, but analysts like Macharia Munene, an international relations professor at the U.S. International University in Nairobi, say Kenya has a special interest in ending the conflict because the number of refugees arriving on its territory is growing.
It's going to be a strain on the country. In fact, that's one of the main reasons why Kenya has to be involved in finding a solution there. So once they are stable, the people don't have to run away.
Many of the Sudanese refugees entering Kenya and other countries have no one to help them and are effectively abandoned, says Doctors Without Borders. Abdisalam Adan Mohammed runs a training center in Nairobi where refugees can learn a local language and other skills. He told VOA it's crucial for host countries to protect escaping Sudanese.
To make sure that people can pass peacefully, and then they create a safe houses for them in the border to help the people who are running from the fighting. They are not traumatized and they have safety, and then give them counseling.
Kenya is host to more than 500,000 refugees, and their numbers are growing as conflicts in the region continue to rage. Exiled civilians like Shakur hope they can return to a peaceful country one day soon. Victoria Amunga for VOA News, Nairobi.
And in sports, Team Kenya settled for bronze while Morocco were crowned the champions as the curtains came down on the 2023 Billie Jean King Cup Africa Group 3 tournament at the Nairobi club today. The Moroccans outsmarted Tunisia 2-1 to emerge the best, while Kenya saw off Zimbabwe 2-1 in a third place finish to bag bronze. Morocco clinched ticket to represent Africa at the Euro Africa next season. And Real Madrid midfield maestro Luka Modric will look to lead his Croatia team to a silverware title when they lock horns against Spain in the UEFA Champions Nations League final set to be played in Rotterdam, Netherlands. Croatia won 4-2 against Netherlands in the semi-finals, while Spain won 2-1 against Italy. Spain will look forward to Manchester City's midfield General Rodrigo to pull the strings for the La Roja in tomorrow's final, expected to kick off at 9:45 p.m. Italy and Netherlands will play for the third spot playoff tomorrow from 4 p.m. All right, that brings us to the end of our bulletin tonight. Thank you so much for being a part of it. Our sign language interpreter has been RUTH CHEPKOECH. My name is Joseph KEES. Until we meet again next time, Enjoy the rest of your weekend.